So, Stan the Annuity Man, what are the best annuity providers for RILAs, registered index-linked annuities, and some educational resources? Since you're America's annuity agent and licensed in all 50 states, and the founder of Contractual Guarantees Only, CGO, Stan the Annuity Man, we thought, as typing this in as something we're looking for, you'd be the person to go to. I am the person to go to. But it's probably not going to be the answer that you're looking for, which is the reason you need to hang in there. And I'll get to that after this. Okay, so this is one of those topics where consultants, lawyers, agents, PR people that walk around with me and ride around with me in my Suburban, and they, yes, Dan, no, Stan, yes, Dan, no, Stan. This is one that they convinced me to do because RILAs, registered index-linked annuities, are the newest annuity type to the scene in a while, but it's something that I do not recommend. I have nothing against them. I just don't recommend them because it doesn't fit into what I do, which is contractual guarantees only. You own an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. And there's two questions that I ask every single person. What do you want the money to contractually do? When do you want those contractual guarantees to start? And then there's an acronym PIL. P stands for principal protection, I stands for income for life, L stands for legacy, L stands for long-term care. So let's talk about RILAs. First of all, I don't mention company names. If they came to me and paid me $100,000 every time I mentioned the company name, I still wouldn't mention the company name. Why? Because annuities are commodities. Okay? We represent all carriers. It's about the contractual guarantee number and the rating, and then my recommendation. That's really what it comes down to. But let's talk about RILAs. Registered index-linked annuities are the annuity industry's version and the brokerage industry's version and the banks industry's version and the RIA's industry's version of an indexed annuity. Fixed indexed annuities were put on the planet in 1995 for CD returns, but it is the most overhyped, bastardized, overpromised sales pitch nonsense on the planet. Market upside with no downside. Market participation with principal protection, all under a fixed structure. It's a CD product. And since 1995, it's returned CD returns. Okay, it is what it is. But there was so much in sales happening with the indexed annuity side because people, if you stood up in front of people and say, this pill, well, I can say that now, this pill will make you skinny. There is one now. We're not going to talk about all the bad things, right? You're going to sell a lot of those pills, right? Well, if it sounds too good to be true, it is every single time. There's always a catch. And with index annuities, the catch is it's a CD product, not a market product, even though it's sold as a market product, and they attach things like upfront bonuses, which I call candy for the stupid. There's not a philanthropist giving away money. But over here, watching all of these sales was the brokerage industry. And going, we got to come up with something. And they did. So their version of an indexed annuity is a registered index-linked annuity. You have to have a Series 7 or be an RIA. You got to go through those testing that most agents over here couldn't pass ever. Of course, I had that when I worked with Dean Witter, Payne Weber, UBS, and Morgan Stanley. And I get past a Series 7 tomorrow blindfolded. Not a big deal. Options, all that stuff. I know it. Munis got it. But the bar is raised over here, just from an intellectual standpoint, an IQ standpoint, to be able to recommend registered index-linked annuities. I have nothing against them. I'm not going to mention the company's names. But what I call them are copay annuities. Kind of like copay, the Medicare stuff you do. So, with some of them, not all, but some, you can choose the level of downside that you participate in or copay in. Now, if you said to me, hold a gun to my head and I think you're crazy enough to pull the trigger, it's okay because the lovely Christine, there's a huge term policy behind me, so she's going to live real well, so it's all good. But if you held the gun to my head and you said, Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, the go-to source on all things annuities, if you're on a deserted island and the only two products that you can buy, and you have to buy one between an indexed annuity and a RILA, which one would you buy? Well, first question I would say is, do you need lifetime income? Because if you do, then you attach an income rider and you buy an indexed annuity. But if you say no, I do not need lifetime income. I just want the potential growth, the non-guaranteed growth stand. Non-guaranteed growth turns me on. I love non-guarantees. Tells me a lot about your life, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I would say buy the RILA. It's got the best non-guaranteed story on the planet. It's got the best potential story on the planet. But potential don't pay the bills, player. If you want market growth, go get it. If you want market growth, don't put limitations on it. Why would you want limitations on your market growth? You can go get exceptional, guaranteed, fixed rate guarantees on the fixed side. Exceptional. But the greed factor, baby. Oh, the greed factor. Oh, I want to make sure I'm getting... A guy told me the other day, he goes, I said, what type of return are you looking for? He goes, I'd be happy with 9-10% return, like annually. I'm like, you and every other money manager, yes, we are in a, check the date, raging bull market where monkeys are throwing darts at boards and making money. I get it. But things go in cycles. Now, that's the argument that the guy's going to say for the RILA. Hey, this registered index linked annuity, this index, they used to call them equity index annuities, this index annuity over here, market upside, no downside. No, that means you can get zero. And with RILAs, you can get a little bit more than zero. You can lose money. But you can buffer it. They used to call them buffer annuities. Buffer. We're going to buffer it. Okay. I'm not against that. Okay, I'm really not against that product if it's in proportion. If you said, you know what, I've got 3% in managed futures, I've got 3% in gold, and I've got 5% in a RILA, then I have my income floor, and then I invest the rest. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, but that's not how it's sold, and you know it. The other thing on this, on both fixed index annuities and RILAs, if someone is saying, I'm going to charge you a wrap fee, I'm going to charge you an annual fee to manage it, get up and walk the hell out of the office. Annuities do not require an annual management fee. Are we clear? Annuities aren't managed. Even the lovely RILA and the lovely indexed annuity. I'm going to win out here. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to do as many videos and write as many books and talk at as many places as I can say until I squash all this bullshit. I'm tired of it. When you're in chapter 2 of your life, don't buy dreams. When you're in chapter 2 of your life, don't buy potential. When you're in chapter 2 of your life, don't buy back-tested. When you're in chapter 2 of your life, buy contractual. Put the income floor in place, put the principal protection in place that you want, and then go invest the rest. You'll be a better investor because you don't have to disrupt. And I'm not talking invest the rest buying a RILA or buying an index annuity. I'm saying invest the rest, buy something that has unlimited upside. Choose your stock of the day in the last year or so that's gone haywire up, like NVIDIA. Great. Would you want a limited upside on NVIDIA? Is it worth it to buffer that? You want to buffer that, do you? No. Annuities should never be purchased for market growth. Annuities should never be a replacement for the stock market. Annuities should never be a replacement for aggressive investing. That has its place. But annuities are contractual. Go to my site, theannuityman.com. If you want to rail against me, you can. Stan@theannuityman is my personal email address that I check. I don't have people checking it for me. I check it. I get a bunch, but that's okay. And it can be hateful. You can hide behind the keyboard if you like. But just put it in the back of your head as you're writing the hate. Man, I might run into that cat at the frickin' hotel or the airport. You don't want that. No, you don't. Do me a favor. Above my head, I did a video that kind of coincides with all this. You're thinking, Stan, you're a genius. How do you do that? I don't know. It just happens. But that video is talking about contractual guarantees. It's talking about annuities being commodities. None are better than the other when you're looking at the contractual guarantees of the policy. I'm the only person out here that's doing that. That doesn't make me crazy. That makes me right. Okay? So watch that video. Get in touch with me. If you schedule a call, you can tell my person, if you might get me, okay? But if you don't get me, you can say, listen, I really respect you picking up the phone, but I want Stan. And you'll get Stan, unless I'm dead. But if I'm dead, you don't want me anyway because I can't talk. But the point is, you can get me, all right? So calm down on all these hypothetical, theoretical dreams you've been pitched. Because if you buy the dream, you're going to own the contractual reality. My name is Stan, the Annuity Man. See you next time.